betrayed us? Have you betrayed me?
An everyday scene in the feedback office, but it does also happen that this week I'm talking to the producer of the late and much lamented BBC One series, Blake's 7, about the most final scene since Hamlet.
Be so kind as to drop your guns, all of you.
I'm also attacking the editor of Nationwide on behalf of people who feel that his new heavier style programme weighs them down. I fire the plasma bolts, but the targets are yours. Feedback isn't my programme or the producer's. It belongs to you. With a bit of bite, a bit of fun perhaps, we're here to get your opinion through to the Great Panjandrum and try to make sure that the Great Panjandrum answers. And we have new great Panjandrums in the BBC nowadays, don't forget. New Director General, new Managing Director Radio, new Managing Director Television. No time for the public voice to get laryngitis when there may be somebody out there gunning for your favourite programme.
I'm not even armed, you can't kill me. I'm completely harmless and armless.
My husband and I were very disappointed at the sudden and apparently final end to the last series of Blake's 7. It seems a pity that such a popular and excellently produced series should be terminated so violently, with the death of at least 5 of the 7 in one episode.
Blake's 7 and now Blake's 2.
I realise that members of the cast may at times wish to leave the series, but it would have left a less sour taste if the final instalment had ended on a happier note.
They used to say that sort of thing about King Lear, though of course that being only a one-off work of fiction entirely without starships and talking computers and not even on BBC One, not so many of them said it. Even for the death of Falstaff, I doubt whether Shakespeare had a couple of thousand letters. So what was Vere Lorimer, the producer, doing with all this summary carnage of his heroes, I asked? Trying to drive the viewers bonkers?
Not at all. I wanted to set up the biggest cliffhanger that's ever been. The public has for 7 years, more or less, lived with these characters, loved them, and suddenly seeing them apparently killed, has given them such a shock that the demand for its return has been tremendous.
But this must have been the most savage killing off to a series ever. 5 out of 7.
Well, they weren't killed at all, really. I decided that Blake would die. He has to die, and he did, and very clearly seemed to be so. However, of the other 5, if you watched it, you would see that there was no blood on them. They fell in a dreamlike way. You never saw Avon killed. What happened to Servalan? Where is Aurak? They are still living, are they? Or are they? I don't know, but they could well be so.
Don't you think it might have given an impression to the viewer that it was all rather perfunctory and a rather unfitting end for such a popular and long-running series?
Well, it certainly was an unusual and unexpected end, and I was criticised for the fact that there did seem to be a lot of violence at Christmas time, but in point of fact, it really was not very violent. What it was so unexpected. The public had all been expecting a typical ending whereby our heroes once again beat the forces of evil and flew off into the stars into another episode. What they got instead was something quite unexpected, and in the space of about 2 minutes it looked as though all the heroes bit the dust. It was such a shock, but in point of fact was not very violent at all.
May I put to you a point made to us by R.J. Bull of Bath, and that is that the writing quality has been extremely uneven, that you could tell when one writer was writing an episode and when another one was. Don't you think that you could have integrated the quality of the writing better, perhaps by having one writer for the whole series?
No one writer could write the lot. It is just not possible. We had to have several writers to do it, but our script editor, Chris Boucher, who wrote most of the scripts, really, over the whole period, has given it its cohesion. Of course, stories are a little different, because they have to be. One of the great secrets of the success of this show has been its unpredictability. 1 minute it was very, very amusing, 1 minute it was rather horrific, another minute it was very exciting, another time human. Every aspect of storytelling has been told in this series by different sorts of writers to give it variety and surprise.
And are you yourself looking forward to a return?
I would be very thrilled and very happy if the series came back. because it has provided a wonderful escapism, and that is not a pointless operation to provide people with a wonderful escapism. I think it makes people feel better, and the fact that our heroes are fighting the forces of evil is a very good example.
So, are you going to bring it back?
I would like to have it back, of course, but it's a managerial decision. These programs have a natural lifespan, and I think sometimes managements are right to take a show off at its zenith so that you leave the characters moving into legend. So in everybody's mind, they're still fighting the good fight out amongst the stars.
Vere Lorimer, producer of what was Blake 7.